Wait, man, watch this video before you text her. The rules have changed, my friend, and after sending thousands of text messages and selling countless copies of my book, Turn Her On Through Text, I can tell you that if she's not texting you back, it's probably because of one of the following mistakes that almost every guy makes. And when you learn how to text girls the right way that I'm about to show you, it'll set you apart from all the other guys that are texting her. She'll text you back faster. She'll text you first, and you'll be the guy she chooses. And all the other guys she's texting will be left high and dry. Ghosted. So keep watching, man, because I'm gonna give you 15 crucial texting do's and don'ts, including how not to be needy and turn her off like most guys do, how to get her to chase you and even fall in love with you over text using the ghost technique, and how to use my favorite compliance ladder technique to get a date quickly. And make sure to watch until the end, man, because I'm gonna give you a free copy of my texting cheat sheet that's packed full of copy and paste text messages that you can use to boost attraction in almost any situation. Starting us off at number 15, honestly, this could be a lot higher on the countdown, but in fact, all of these are so damn important, is stop being needy. There are two ways that guys commonly come off as too needy. Number one is texting too much, texting all the time. I mean, come on, man, you're a busy guy. You're on your purpose. You have a mission in life. It's not to be sending her text messages all the time and getting that little hit of dopamine every time you hear that ding on your phone. So what you need to do is just keep your phone on silent and only check your phone a few times at specific times every single day. Instead of always texting her back right away and sending her tons of messages, be doing your thing. Just be focused on your job, your passions, and when you check your phone a few times a day, that's when you reply back. So what if she has to wait a few hours? Let her wonder what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that as a manipulation tactic where you see her text and you say, ooh, I gotta wait 2 hours to text her back. I'm saying don't even check your phone, so that way you're just naturally gonna text her back 2 hours later. Sometimes it'll be right away because she sent you a text and you happen to be checking your phone. Other times, she's gonna have to wait. And the second way guys are needy is they just send really long text messages.
You had rambled on for 18 pages. Front and back!
Look at the text before you send it. And just think to yourself, is there any way I can shorten this? Do I really have to send 3 sentences? Can I just say that in 1 sentence? Because imagine you text her and she looks at her phone and she sees all these messages in a row from you, or maybe it's just one big message from you. If she's just met you and she doesn't really know much about you, then she's just gonna assume that you're needy. So in general, just keep your text short and to the point. Double check it before you send it. Next is use the chameleon approach. The chameleon matches his environment. Now, I'm not saying you should match exactly how she texts you. It's not about mirroring exactly, using the exact words or the same exact amount of emoticons or texting her back the exact length of time that it took her to text you back. Just like a chameleon doesn't change into a rock or tree, he just kind of matches his environment. I just want you to kind of match her texting style. So if she's sending you really long texts, then feel free to write a little bit longer. If she texts you back right away, then feel free to text her back a little bit quicker. This is kind of like the exception to the previous rule. If she's using tons and tons of emoticons, then feel free to use a few more, but don't turn into a chick. Don't overdo it. Just kind of notice her texting vibe, her texting style, and match it just a little bit because we feel more comfortable and we like people that are like ourselves. So if you're totally different, like she sends you these long texts and you send her one-word replies and she texts you back right away, but you wait 10 hours, there's gonna be so much of a disconnect. She's gonna feel like you guys are totally not on the same page and you're probably not gonna get a date with her. So don't copy, don't mirror exactly, just match her texting style. Next is don't bore her to death. I knew a really attractive girl and she had a crush on this guy that she worked with, and finally he asked for her number and she was all excited, and then the next day he sent her a text, "Hey." Womp, womp, womp. She immediately lost interest, but she gave him the benefit of the doubt and she sent a reply like, "Hey, what's up?" And he wrote back, "Not much. You?" And she told me that her attraction for him died after just 2 or 3 text messages. Don't let that happen to you. Keep your text short, like I said earlier, but I think you can be a little bit more original than hey, or what's up, or what are you doing? In fact, never send a one-word text. You're smarter than that, you're more clever than that. I know you can come up with something better. And if you're struggling, you wanna have your text fun, flirty, a little bit cheeky, so that when she sees a text from you, she's smiling and she's enjoying it and she's looking forward to your next text. But if you struggle with sometimes not knowing what to say, then make sure to download a copy of my free texting cheat sheet. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna put a link to it at the end of this video. Download it, man. And along with boring her to death is always use proper spelling and grammar. Unless, of course, you're using the Chameleon approach. Other than that, spell out your words. Don't use a you to replace the word you, because that's like texting like a 13-year-old girl. You're better than that, man. If she sees all these cheesy abbreviations and you're missing periods and you're not capitalizing words and you're misspelling words, what is she gonna think about you? All she knows about you are the words that you're sending on the screen. You could be a freaking genius, but if you're texting her like a little kid, she's gonna think there's not much up there. Next, and we gotta have a little heart to heart here, because here's the deal. Girls will flake. It's just the way it is. And they will go cold sometimes. And I know how frustrating it is. You really like this girl. She's so pretty. And then you don't hear back from her. And I know what it's like, man. It sucks. You meet a girl, maybe you approach the girl, you got out of your comfort zone, you risked embarrassment, you had this great interaction, you felt the sparks flying, and then she doesn't reply to your first text. Or maybe she does reply, you have a little exchange back and forth, and then all of a sudden, where the heck did she go? She's gone. And so you text her again, no reply. And then maybe you even text her a third or fourth, hopefully not a fifth and sixth time, because chances are she's not gonna reply. You gotta understand, man, it's just the way it is. Sometimes women are not gonna text you back. Sometimes they actually do it as a test. They wanna see, are you really as cool as you seem? Or are you gonna get all butthurt and all worried and freak out when she doesn't text you back for a day? Because trust me, man, some guys freak the out just because the girl didn't text him back. He sends text after text after text. What happened? What did I say wrong? What are you doing? And goes through all these emotions. Then he starts getting mad at her. Well, F you then if you're not gonna write me back. You're a bitch. Don't be that guy. She wants to make sure that you're a cool, grounded man, that just because she doesn't text you back, or she texts you the wrong thing, or she says no the first time you ask her on a date, or she even flakes on the date, that you're not gonna freak out, that you are a calm, grounded man. Because think about it, if you freak out just because she doesn't text you back, it means you only have one option, that you're putting all your eggs in her basket and that you really, really, really like her. That's why you're so mad that she's not reciprocating that attraction back, which is basically the definition of needy. It means you have no option, so you need her. And you're latching onto her and freaking out when it doesn't work out. So what if one or two fall off the radar? You have other options. And if you don't have other options right now, ask yourself, why not? Is it because you're struggling with meeting women, with approaching women in real life? If that's the case, man, we can help you out. We have all sorts of boot camps all around the world where we take guys in field and show them exactly how to walk up and approach beautiful women in a way that is confident, smooth, and a way that women absolutely adore. It's awesome to see the women light up and just melt in front of a charming, attractive man such as yourself. So I'll go ahead and put a link to our bootcamp schedule down in the description. And by the way, man, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, what are you doing with your life? Come on, man, punch that subscribe button, give me one of these, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this video or what other videos you'd like to see on this channel, or just tell me your thoughts. What's on your mind right now? Drop it down below. Oh man, we've all done this one. Sending sexual texts too soon. Now, this could be high risk, high reward, in that if she reciprocates the sexuality, then hey, it's game on. But it's risky, man, because there's no body language or tonality through texting. She can easily misinterpret whatever sexual innuendo or sexually charged text that you sent her the wrong way. And it can just totally creep her out. unless you do it the right way. You need to grab a copy of Turn Her On Through Text, man, because it shows you a non-risky way to turn the conversation sexual, and it works nearly every time. And OMG, women love it. If you want to get her all hot and bothered, whether you just met her or you've been texting her for a long time, in a way that's very safe so that she won't think that you're a freak or a creep, because you're gonna use the same seductive language that women absolutely devour in romance novels. You need to grab your copy of Turn Her On Through Text, man. I'll put a link down below. Get it. You won't regret it. Now, in today's day and age, it seems like nobody talks on the phone anymore, right? Everybody's texting, which is why you need to get her on the phone, because it'll set you apart from all the other guys that are texting her. Think about it. She's texting 20 other guys, and honestly, if she's an attractive woman, that might be the case. But the only guy she actually had a real on-the-phone conversation with is you. Who do you think she's gonna wanna go on a date with? Who's she gonna feel more comfortable with? Who's she gonna feel like she knows better? Because she's gonna hear your tonality. She's gonna be able to sense your vibe and what kind of guy you are just from a short phone conversation. Because here's the deal, man. Texting, which is just words, accounts for only about 7% of communication. The rest is body language and tonality. So if you can just have a short conversation with her on the phone, she's more likely to say yes to you, because she'll feel like she just has a better sense of who you are, as long as the phone conversation was pretty good. If you get on there and you're all nervous and you don't know what to say and there's all these awkward silences, then yeah, you're pretty much just shooting yourself in the foot. And you need to set up the phone call the right way. You cannot just call her out of the blue nowadays. So I created an entire video that shows you exactly how to call girls in today's day and age. I'll put a link down in the description, and I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. Make sure to watch it, man, because if you can master calling women on the phone nowadays, you have a huge advantage. Next is sending cool pics. Because like they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Because you can only convey so much emotion or spark so much emotion in her through words, but with a picture you can do a whole lot more. For example, you can show her what you're doing that day. You can give her a little insight into your life, some of your passions, or if you're into working out, you can send her a picture when you're all pumped up at the gym. That might even turn her on a little bit. Not like, don't look like you're bragging, man. Bragging is never a turn on. One way that I like to do it is by using a cliffhanger text, which is just a text that implies there's more to the text and it kind of leaves her hanging, right? Like you're hanging off the end of the cliff. Get it? Cliffhanger. So for example, you know what kind of animal you remind me of? ... She will always respond to that because she wants to know. And then I just send her a picture of an adorable animal. And she'll be like, oh, it's so cute. Next, I recommend that you always go for the date on a high note. What that means is that anytime you escalate the interaction, escalate just means you're going to the next level. Going for the first date is the next level in the interaction. If you do it at a low note, for example, just out of the blue, you don't know what kind of emotional state she's in. She could have had a horrible day, and then you text her, hey, let's hang out. And by the way, never text her, let's hang out. Have an actual plan. But if you go for it while she's not in a great mood, she's likely to say no. But if you've been texting back and forth and you've been using some of the text out of my texting cheat sheet and she's laughing and she's loving the back and forth texting exchange, and then you go for a date on a high note, she's a lot more likely to say yes to the date. And by the way, I post a lot of texting examples on my Instagram. So if you got Instagram, then follow me, man, Matt Artisan, and send me a DM. I would love to chat with you. Next is end the back and forth first. What that means is if you're texting her back and forth, like you're kind of having a conversation, you know, she texts you back, you text her back, every couple minutes, you know, ping pong back and forth, end it first. Why? Because you're a busy guy. And I don't mean just pretend you're a busy guy that you gotta go and you have nothing to do. Actually have a life, have shit to do, man. You don't have time to send her 50 text messages back and forth. So after a few back and forth, end it first. Just tell her what you gotta do. Hey, I just got to the gym, I'll text you later. Or, hey, I just got to the gym, I'll call you at 8. Will you be free? And then set up a phone call. But if she's constantly the one that ends the texting conversation, it's putting her in charge, it's putting her in the lead, and it seems like you have nothing better to do. Like she's the busy one and you're the one chasing her. Now, if you can't end it first, she tells you she's gotta go, No big deal. It's not the end of the world. Don't freak out. Just as a general rule, try to end the interaction first. And the easiest way to do that is just have a busy life. Next is kind of on the same token, but a little bit different. It can come off a little manipulative, but this is not what I'm intending. Hopefully you don't take this the wrong way. You can ghost her. Now, let me back up. I don't mean completely ghost her and you disappear forever. What would be the point of that? Don't do that. What I mean is just give some space in the interaction. If you on average text her, let's say every day, then stop texting her for a day or two. If you on average text her every other day, then stop texting her for like 3, 4, or 5 days. This is really gonna make her think about you, if she likes you, of course. If she doesn't really like you that much, then she's not gonna even notice, but assuming she likes you, she's gonna be wondering what's going on, why isn't he texting me back? And she's gonna be thinking about you a lot. And people actually fall in love with one another, not while they're together necessarily, but when they are apart, when they're thinking about the other person. So don't do this as some manipulative tactic. Just do this as a way to give your relationship, your newly found relationship probably, some space. Just to see what happens. Does she text you after a day? And just notice. Maybe she'll become the one that texts you back first. And if she doesn't text you first, no big deal. Just restart the texting conversation. You can chastise me all you want, but this technique flat out works. And I don't want you to do it like, okay, I'm gonna stop texting her. I just want you to be busy. Go do something. Go camping for a couple days. Go on a weekend trip with your family. Again, what it all comes down to is being a guy with purpose, a guy who's on his mission in life. He's got shit going on besides texting one particular girl that he just met. I'm not saying you should do this to your wife or girlfriend. No, I'm talking about a girl that you just met, or maybe you've only been on 1 or 2 dates with her. It's very early in the relationship. This can even sometimes speed the relationship up to the next level. Now, this has all happened to us. We've all had women, I assume, that have ghosted us or just started going cold and didn't text back. The key is to be persistent, man. Keep the texting fun and playful. Like I said earlier, don't freak out. Don't start giving her a bunch of shit just because she didn't reply back. Or even if she doesn't say yes to the date right away, don't get all needy and give her ultimatums. In fact, I just had a client who was texting this girl that he really, really liked. He was using word-for-word text messages from Turn Her On Through Text, so the interaction was going awesome. She was texting him first. She seemed really excited to text and to eventually see him, but when he asked her out, she said she was busy that weekend. And so instead of just being a cool guy and saying, okay, no big deal, and keep texting and then try to go for a date next weekend, he got all affected and he sent something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, look, I don't want to play games with you. I like you. If you don't want to see me, then let's just stop talking to each other. Don't do that, man. Just be persistent. Nothing's a big deal. Just try again. In fact, even if she stops texting you, don't just give up just because she didn't reply to your last text. Maybe she's busy, maybe she forgot, maybe she's texting other guys, that's pretty likely, but guess what? Those other guys will likely shoot themselves in their foot. Don't do that to yourself. Just be persistent. Wait a couple days and try again. The next couple tips are really juicy, man, so pay attention, take good notes. And before we get to them, make sure to punch that subscribe button and give me one of these. I'd really appreciate it. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video, and let me know what other videos you'd like to see on this channel, because that's where I get a lot of my ideas, reading your comments. Nowadays, man, I highly recommend you get her on social media. If you don't have social media, it's not the end of the world. I get it, man. It's addictive, and maybe you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Cool. But if you got Facebook, Tinder, or Snapchat, or if you're watching this someday in the future, whatever is next, make sure to use it, because you can stay on her radar a lot more and for a longer period of time. For example, one time I met this girl, exchanged numbers, and I hadn't gone back to that city and hit her up for 4 years because I was in a relationship. And when my relationship ended, I went back to that city, and the girl was really pretty, so I hit her up. And guess what? When we met up for the date, she was like, wow, I've seen all your traveling. I know you went here and you did this. It was like she knew everything that happened in the last 4 years because she was following me on Facebook. Now imagine she wasn't following me on Facebook. I only had her phone number, and then I texted her 4 years later. She'd be like, oh, why is this guy texting me? I barely remember him. So again, again, it goes back to having a cool life. If you have a cool life, post your pictures on social media. And then every girl you meet, add them to your social media. You can just text them on social media. However, when I meet a woman in person, I first get her social media. I use what's called a yes ladder. I say, hey, do you have social media? She says yes. I say, cool. Instagram? She says yes. That's 2 yeses. Then I say, cool, write it down here. And she writes it in the contact app on my phone. And then after she's done writing her Instagram handle, I say, cool, write your phone number as well. And they usually say yes because I'm starting with a small yes and I'm building up to a bigger yes. Hence the name Yes Ladder. And the reason I get both is because I'd rather text her through standard SMS texting because chances are she doesn't have as many guys hitting her up using her phone number on standard SMS. And if she has a public social media profile, then chances are she has a lot of guys hitting her up if she's a really attractive woman. So when you first meet her, get her phone number and her social media. Make sure, of course, she's following you. Then you have the best of both worlds. Next is one of the biggest mistakes I see when I'm working with a client one-on-one or in a boot camp and I look at their phone, I'm looking at their texting conversations, I'm scrolling like this, I see all this back and forth, and it's usually pretty good because they're using text from turn her on through text, but they're not asking her out. And one time I spoke at an event that had a lot of women in the audience, and I asked the women, what's the biggest challenge or gripe that you have towards men when it comes to dating? And they were all in consensus that they were frustrated that men don't make the move. And they specifically said during the texting interaction. They're texting back and forth and the girls are frustrated because the guy never asks them out or he just waits too long. And I know we live in a modern feminized world where women want to be just as equal as men and women should be asking out men. But quite frankly, women are still feminine and they want a man to be a man and take the lead and take charge and ask her out. So stop waiting for her to ask you out because it's probably not going to happen. And in Turn Her On Through Text, I show you exactly how to get a date in less than 5 text messages. So use those text messages and go for a date quicker rather than later. And if she says no, remember, be persistent, it's no big deal. Keep texting back and forth and try again. Now, there is a fine line of being persistent versus being overly eager or needy. And it really just takes practice finding where that fine line meets. But if you're unsure, veer on the side of not over texting her. All right, we're almost done. Let's keep going. Next is use the yes ladder technique to get a date. So the yes ladder technique is a way to kind of program somebody's brain. You get them saying small yeses before you go for the big yes. Smart salespeople use this technique all the time. Instead of saying, would you like to buy this car? They go for smaller yeses like, do you like this car? What do you like about the car? Would you like to drive the car? So you can use the same principle when it comes to going for a date. Instead of just saying, hey, would you like to go out with me sometime? Nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of generic and it's going for a big yes. Instead, say something like, do you like ice cream? She'll probably say yes. Then, as long as she's not new in town, you can ask her if she knows of a specific popular ice cream shop. Like, have you ever been to Frosted Cones on Elm Street? And she'll say yes. I love that place. And then it leads you right into asking her out. Now, you have to make sure you ask her out the right way, not like, hey, wanna hang out sometime? You gotta ask her out like a man, give her some options. And I show you some really effective word-for-word texting examples in Turn Her On Through Text and in the free texting cheat sheet that I'm gonna drop for you in just a second. But first, finally, rule number 1, please guys, no unsolicited pictures of your junk. If she asks for it, fine. I've had a few girls ask. I usually send them kind of teasing pictures. I don't show them the whole thing. I'm not gonna give you examples, don't worry. But don't just send her a dick pic out of the blue. I'm pretty sure that has never worked in the history of texting. Actually, it probably has worked, but it's just way too high risk, high reward. Don't do it. It's gross. It's kind of like going up to every girl at the bar and saying, hey, let's go have sex. It's all just a numbers game at that point. Instead, have some skills when it comes to texting, which is why I'm finally going to give you a copy of my free texting cheat sheet. There'll be a link at the right of the screen in just a second. So make sure to download it, man, because it'll show you exactly what to text her when you first meet her, how to lead the conversation so she starts chasing you, and how to get a date in less than 5 text messages. And of course, what to text her if she doesn't text back, because hey, It happens even to the best of us. And if you want to actually turn women on with your texting and really take things to the next level so that when you do go on a date with her, or maybe you've already been on some dates with her, but you really want to get her aroused and thinking naughty thoughts of you, then make sure to get your copy of Turn Her On Through Text. I'll put a link down in the description. Check it out, man, because it is pure gold. And if you're interested in working with me or one of our team members live in field to help you actually approach women in real life, or to handle your inner game, the thoughts and beliefs and the mindsets that are holding you back, then I'll put a link down below with more information. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, and more importantly, subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed, and watch the video that I mentioned earlier right down below on how to call women the right way so she's more likely to actually pick up, and so you can have a great phone conversation that leads to a date. My name is Matt Artisan from The Attractive Man, and I'll see you in that video down below.